strong case that the president abused his power and wanted to let a foreign power interfere in our elections. That goes to the heart of what our democracy is and what the founding fathers warned against. And now, to not allow witnesses to come forward who would be able to discuss what actually happened? If we don't have them, the trial won't be fair. The 4 witnesses we proposed have direct knowledge of why aid to Ukraine was delayed and the administration's request for Ukraine to conduct 2 investigations for political reasons. They have direct knowledge of those facts. We don't know, as I said, what kind of evidence they'll present. It may be incriminating. It may be exculpatory. It may influence how senators vote. It may not. But they certainly ought to be heard. By virtue of their senior positions in the White House, each witness we named was directly involved in the events that led to the charges made by the House. We've also proposed subpoenaing certain records, including emails by certain key officials that are directly related to the charges brought by the House. I believe these documents are also of great importance to making sure senators have the information necessary to make a fully informed decision, this terribly weighty decision. The House has built a very strong case against the president. Maybe that's why Leader McConnell doesn't seem to want witnesses, at least not agree to them now. Maybe that's why the president is afraid, because the House case is so strong that they don't want witnesses that might corroborate it. The evidence the House put together includes public testimony given under oath by numerous senior officials appointed by President Trump. These are Trump appointees we're calling, not some partisan Democrat. But some Republican senators have said that while the charges are serious, they haven't seen enough evidence to make a decision. That's one of the reasons I've proposed subpoenas for these witnesses and documents, all directly relevant, from officials who have yet to testify under oath during any stage of the House process. Senators who oppose this plan will have to explain why less evidence is better than more evidence. Again, let me say that to every senator in this room, Democrat and Republican. Senators who oppose this plan will have to explain why less evidence is better than more evidence. And they're going to have to explain that position to a public that is understandably skeptical when they see an administration suppressing evidence and blocking senior officials from telling the truth about what they know. Let me repeat this Washington ABC poll. Just this morning, I read about it in the paper this morning. 71% of Americans believe the president should allow his top aides to testify in a potential Senate trial. 72% of independents and 64% of Republicans. 64% of Republicans think that President Trump should allow his top aides to testify in a potential Senate trial. 7 out of 10 Americans. The American people have a wisdom that seems to be lacking with some of my colleagues, that a trial without witnesses is not a trial. It's a rush to judgment. It's a sham trial. The American people understand that a trial without relevant documents is not a fair trial. Again, a desire not for sunlight, but for darkness, to conceal facts that may well be very relevant. The American people understand if you're trying to conceal evidence and block testimony, it's probably not because the evidence is going to help your case. It's because you're trying to cover something up. Mr. President Trump, are you worried about what these witnesses would say? If you're not worried, let them come forward. And if you are worried, we ought to hear from them. I haven't heard, again, the leader went on for 15, 20 minutes, the Republican leader, without giving a single argument for why these witnesses shouldn't testify or these documents shouldn't be produced, unless the president has something to hide. In the coming weeks, every senator will have a choice. Do they want a fair, honest trial that examines all the facts? Or do they want a trial that doesn't let all the facts come out? We will have votes. During this proceeding, should the House send it to us, after voting for it, when they send it to us, we will have votes on whether these people should testify and whether these documents should be made public and part of the trial. And the American people will be watching. They will be watching. Who is for an open and fair trial? Who is for hiding facts, relevant facts, immediate facts? Who is for covering up? I expect to discuss this proposal for a fair trial with Leader McConnell. But each individual senator will have both the power and the responsibility to help shape what an impeachment trial looks like. In Federalist 65, Alexander Hamilton wondered, quote, "Where else than in the Senate could have been found a tribunal sufficiently dignified or sufficiently independent to serve as a court of impeachment? What other body would be likely to feel confidence enough to preserve, unawed and uninfluenced, the necessary impartiality?" My colleagues, Leader McConnell, are you, in Alexander Hamilton's words, unawed and uninfluenced to produce the necessary impartiality, or will you participate in a cover-up? Can we live up to Hamilton's fine words with dignity, independence, confidence, to preserve the necessary impartiality to conduct a fair trial? That question should weigh heavily upon every single senator. Mr. President, I yield the floor. Mr. President, send my entire words. Thank you.